Hi everybody and welcome back to our YouTube channel BTCTV. We continue to do videos about blockchain business, about different companies in it, famous people, conferences, all as I said about blockchain. Today we are happy to present you a company Salamantex. We met this company approximately 1.5 years, I think, in Austria. So right now on the line with me Niall and Mar from this company. Guys, thanks for coming to our TV show. Thanks for staying with us. And before we'll start, how about that you will make a little bit introduction about what is Salamantex is about and what you are doing actually.
Okay. Hi, my name is Neil Murray. I'm the Director of Business Development. And Salamantex all started out now almost 3.5 to 4 years ago when it was realized that actually there'll be a lot of cryptocurrencies charging into the market, but no, if you look at it, maybe if you want to have the cryptocurrencies be used as a means of exchange, it would be very, very difficult. Because at that time there were like maybe 500. Now there's maybe 2,000 to 3,000 of them. Mm-hmm. And how do you then get it to become like a means of exchange, meaning that, in retail you could actually use it like you would use money. And so from there, instead of like setting up our own cryptocurrency, we thought about the other way around. Why not just create a software which allows merchants to accept cryptocurrencies and then to actually decide whether they want to keep the cryptocurrency at their own risk or whether they would like to receive the purchase price in fiat in return. And in that way, you can take care of a lot of drawbacks that, cryptocurrencies have, such as the volatility, how to do it in accounting, and, also a lot of merchants, we might know what cryptocurrencies are and how these things work, but merchants, quite honestly, all they want to do is sell their goods and services. They don't really want to get into this too much. And that's how the whole idea came about. And then when you last saw us 1.5 years ago, we were setting up the strategy, which really where Marcus comes in a lot. And it's all about the compliance and looking at the existing payment process and the integration into that. And the news that we're currently publishing with CONSTITUTE going into Austria is actually a lot more than just Austria. It's the culmination of a success story from our side, we think, that really plays out the strategy that we've had, which is to add a good degree of compliance into the payment process, which was unheard of a couple of years back in the blockchain industry, and combine that with an integration into the existing payment process, and then to grow with the infrastructure providers of that payment process, one of which is CONSTITUTE.
Okay, so I remember when we first time met, I said that this company is interesting one because you're like trying to cover very big pain on the market that people has cryptos, and for example they want to spend it with buying in local shops items, and they cannot do this one. So you are here connecting merchants which want to accept payments, right, and for buyers to do this transaction. So really nice idea. But during this 1.5 years, because we didn't spoke during this time, what have been done? Can you like summarize a little bit in short sentences what has been done during this time?
Yeah, sure. Thank you also from my side. What happened is that the strategy of Salamantex was always to become a possible payment for every merchant to be used for every shopper. So what we did in the last 1.5 years is that we generated everything that is possible to make mass adoption possible. So we integrated Salamantex into terminals. We completed that with Ingenico. So Ingenico terminals were the first ones where Salamantex is fully integrated, and we managed to be in the terminal so that you can scan the QR code at the discount at the checkout. And other than that, we accomplished a partnership together with A1 Payment. A1 Payment is a division of the A1 Telecom Austria here out of Vienna. And through that we came into this partnership with Concardis. What we did on this, on top of all that, is as Neil already mentioned, we managed to get the whole legal process done. That the whole company and everything that we do in payments is fully compliant with AML rules and with all the standards that are needed in terms of payment.
I see. Okay, great. Before, I mean, in this video, right, that your company is from Austria, right, and that market is very, in my opinion, like old school, maybe, right, maybe very conservative, right, with regulation and so on. So for me, it will be interesting to hear, like, you came with blockchain ideas. Okay, right now everybody talking about Bitcoin, when Elon Musk is supporting this one, right, technologies. But even 1.5 years, it was tough, in my opinion, to come to the authorities with this idea. So how they reacted to what you tried to implement on your market?
I will start and Neil will then continue. The thing is, yes, it's true, we're an Austrian company, and it was Austria is in general a very good market to start, because we have our, let's say, the possibilities and the way of starting a company in Austria is easy, and the government supports that. In later stage, you then have to think on what is good, but Austria is a very good place to start. But the company, and that's when very important for us, yes, it's an Austrian company, but we act globally. So it's a local thing for a global market, because the partnerships we do are partnerships for the entire group we partner with. So we don't do a solution that is just an Austrian solution, and then we now try Germany and then France. That's not the way it works. We do everything on a group level, and therefore expand on a global market.
I see.
Yeah, if I might add, what that means is the following. The advantage was in the beginning that Austria actually did not perceive cryptocurrencies to be money.
Okay.
And they said you had to treat them like goods. And then after that, it was, let's say, fairly simple for us to just adhere to, say, credit card contract standards. And then bit by bit, as Austria started to, formulate a policy of how they wanted their regulator, the FMA, Finanzmarktaufsicht, to process such new companies, then we managed to get that approval, or actually not really the approval, but we were then allowed to be to continue our business last year in January 2020, and that's one aspect. The second aspect is that, as Marcus already mentioned, so to go from Austria, it was simple to start as a startup, and you get quite a good support. But then after that, you as a startup already now, you're challenged with building up like kind of multinational company structures without really being 10,000 people big or something. But there's another aspect to it. With that approval, we certainly were able to look at other countries, and then we very quickly realized that in order to scale into all these other countries, it's like, as Marcus already said, we need to work with the payment service providers such as Concardis, who is a leading service payment provider. Also work with A1, who actually, besides Austria, also does, for instance, Belarus, and I think it's Hungary, Bulgaria, these kind of countries. And all you've got to do is one single software integration, and you're open then to 9 to 15 different countries, which, if you look at the EU, is very much, okay, we need to talk to the regulator and then tell them what we're doing, and then we can maybe operate there immediately, or not. And if not, then we will go through an application process, which is in some countries, large markets in Europe, we're doing this. Then if you go back to your question of, the POS, it's kind of like a traditional terminal and everyone's on a mobile phone and so on. Well, there's more than, there's hundreds of millions of these terminals like installed, 25 million, I think is the figure for Ingenico. They're market leader. And it depends on how you use this device. If you, like we do, are having a vision of that we are looking at, digital assets, not just like cryptocurrencies or actually cryptocurrencies, but digital asset forms, then you suddenly, can provide these merchants with these services so we can walk with the time. And the second thing is that these devices are also connected. So they're connected to, the networks. These networks can have certain functions. And also, if you do the connection on the POS, you can also do your online acquiring via these networks with the online check-in pages. So the only other thing you could say is, in Asia and other parts of the world, everything is on mobile and everything's on is happening there. But if you look at the actual payment volumes, just to give you an example, there's still, say, in Austria, there's like 51% is credit card. So this credit card could be on a phone, which is via a wallet. It could also just be somebody taking out the credit card and paying. So we can work with both ways, because you can imagine, just like what other exchanges are doing, also one famous Austrian unicorn, connecting credit cards to cryptocurrencies, and then you just pay. So these POS terminals are still very, very important gateways, just by the sheer number, and by the way how, let's say, all of we Europeans are like more old-fashioned than in other parts of the world to use them. But also, we just as well can roll out on mobile phones and other things with apps and app integrations. And of course, it goes without saying that these are things that we've got planned for the near future.
I see. Okay. And before we'll finish, I got some news regarding Salamantex, what you have been done, and can you share regarding big news for our YouTube channel, that people understand some important steps what have been done, I think during the last couple of days, right, when you sent a press release?
Well, since the press release is out, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, since the press release is out, well, the thing is that is not enough, because now what needs to happen is that because we are able to work with Concardis doesn't mean that we are live in all the shops. Mm-hmm. So what happens now basically is that every shop needs to change, also needs to adopt Salamantex. So we have to go to the shop, which happens through our partner Concardis. So they are, so to say, our people on front. So the shops need to accept Salamantex. There is a contract that needs to be signed. There are certain steps that needs to be done. And then it's also important that the terminal is the right terminal. Now is a year of changing terminals, because not every terminal is able to use Salamantex. So in case of Ingenico, it's the 5000 series. It's the new series that is out, and now is the year of changing. A terminal in Regal is between 4 to 6 years. So that's when the circle starts. So basically, what happens now is that we're going to the merchants of Concardis, and hold on one second. Going to the merchants of Concardis and sending contracts and changing the terminals and put the application on it, and then we can start to work.
I see. Excellent.
So, yes. If I might add, so this press release actually looks at Austria, but what we've also said is we're actually working with the acquirer. This is 9 more countries which open up to us with the scaling effect of Concardis having a network of, quite a few merchants. There's a few thousand in Austria, there's a few thousand in the other countries. Altogether, I think they're talking about plus 100,000 merchants. There's no specific figure, they keep that to themselves. But that means that we could work with these merchants. And if there are markets that we want to target next, it's very clear that we're looking obviously at the biggest market in Europe, which is Germany, but also, there's the Benelux, there's the German-speaking country that we're still missing is Switzerland. And then, of course, if you look at it, that also means that by default, we're also looking with A1 at the other places. So it's just for us, the significance of this news is really that we are now ready and kind of going to pounce on the chances and opportunities in these other markets to spread out as fast as possible among the merchants. And the pandemic, some people might say, yeah, but because of the pandemic, all the shops are closed, and what are you going to do? Well, this is also online. So you're talking about two things. I mean, shops will reopen. Maybe not every single one will survive, but these things will reopen and there will be spending going there. But also online, we also have the presence and can provide the same services and do this also via these partnerships. And you should see us like opening up more partnerships and presenting a lot more activity in this year. And that's what we're very proud of and what me and Marcus really wanted to talk to you about today.
Excellent. Okay, and we haven't seen each other for approximately like 1.5 years. And
Yes.
if to think about what will be next to your company during the next 18 months, where do you see Salamantex in the next 18 months? What is your goal, for example, to reach, I don't know, like countries, maybe some want to occupy some numbers of terminals to which we will use your technology. Can you tell us?
We have to be very careful on the things that we mention because time tells us, or the always a delay in certain steps. But what we are doing is we are generating more mass adoptions, meaning that we will connect to more acquirers, we will integrate in more terminals. And of course, we have to keep our standards with our legal compliance topics in other countries, because that is very important to be regulated first before you enter a country to start. And Salamantex is making a very, very big point on that. Regardless on the topic of development, so we have to develop our product more and get more into digital currencies and try to get much more on that done. And that's from an operational point of view, and Neil probably will tell you more about the global strategy.
Yeah, well, 1.5 years, if we go by what happened in the past 1.5 years and looking at the current trend of Austrian companies reaching unicorn status, maybe I should go and buy myself an inflatable unicorn and set it up here in my room and say, well, that is what we're going to do. But that's just the dream, obviously, for every startup in Austria right now that has to do with fintech. But if I were to say about, where are we heading on the business side? Well, it's very clear that just having an increasing Bitcoin course is, exchange rate is not going to lead to mass adoption. That's really what we're doing. We're providing reach. And what I mean by that is we're just talking Dash, Litecoin, and these other currencies that are currently popular. But what about these token projects? What about if they want to operate in 9 countries? Well, they could probably do that with us, right? So I would really suggest that, projects out there who are seeking to gain like real traction should, really think hard about how do they want to bridge the gap between like their ecosystem that they've created and these, let's say, 9 ecosystems, 9 national economies. Yeah, if we talk about Concardis network and the markets they operate in, that's 9 different countries that you could have access to. And we think that more and more we will be pushing ourselves into the role of an enabler for a lot of blockchain and fintech oriented projects. But we ourselves also need to grow stronger and have more partnerships. And we're certainly looking, into, eastward anyway. I mean, I'm not really thinking about Asia, but if you say 1.5 years, well, certainly we will be doing a lot in other parts of Europe, but looking also internationally. I mentioned before, we do want to build multinational or international global structures, and that's what we're putting all our resources into, hire the right people, to get the experts in, to have all the development that Marcus just talked about when we want to improve our products. And I hope that we, after this whole pandemic, which kind of put us into a lull and then got us back out, but essentially it did a lot of good for us. We're coming back in this year to really complete a lot of more news. And I hope then we're also going to be talking about it once more.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for sharing what you have done, what is your vision about your company. In my opinion, you're doing really very useful task for mass adoption, really for mass adoption of all digital currencies. And that is why, again, thanks for coming. Meanwhile, I want to ask everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel and start leaving questions below this video, because maybe we will select a couple of them, which will be the best one, and you will get some presents from us. Meanwhile, again, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and wishing you a good day to you guys, and wishing you good luck that you will reach your unicorn status as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and hopefully soon in Poland as well.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.